Hey guys, welcome back. This is Tarun again, back with another fitness video. So I've started this series of talking about drugs and steroids and supplements. More of an information-based series wherein you get some perspective on all of these stuff. Plus, I also share my experience. Because most of it I've tried it. I have no qualms admitting it. There are very few people out there who would actually acknowledge that. So, but hey, that's why I do this. So that you get an honest perspective on things. So today, and I've been getting a lot of questions from people on different drugs, whether, what's the use of it, more from an information-based perspective. So today I will be talking more about, I'll be talking about Dbol or Dbol, one of the most potent and strongest or probably the oldest oral steroid. Have I tried it? Yes, I have tried it. Did I get results from it? Yes, and my results are pretty much strength and a shitload of water retention. So much so that I got really bloated. So let's talk about Dbol. What exactly Dbol is? Now, Dbol goes way back to 60s, 50s, and 60s. If you remember, it was Arnold's favorite stack. Which was Dbol and Deca. So this was actually developed by this gentleman, let me just look up, by the name of Dr. Ziegler. Now I did some research on it, and I did this research when I actually tried this cycle. I tried a Dbol and an Equipoise cycle because I wanted to bulk up, and obviously there was no direction, so I just kind of made my own freaking cycle. So Dbol, back in 60s and 50s and 60s, testosterone was huge. Everybody was talking about it, because Russians had developed this drug, as more of a performance enhancement drug, and everybody was taking it, in whether it's sports event, Olympics, everywhere. It was out there in bodybuilding, everywhere. So obviously, Americans were wondering that, hey, how do we compete with these guys, when they're injecting something, when they already have that edge, because steroids do give you an edge. So along with then came Dr. Ziegler. So he was he was reached out to by these sports authorities and said, what, do something about it. So Dr. Ziegler, in collaboration with this back then this old company called Ciba Pharmaceuticals, they launched Dbol. And boy, it was an oral steroid because testosterone was an injectable. Dbol, it was an oral, which means that you have to pop a pill. You don't have to inject it. Though there are some injectable versions available, but they're not, people usually prefer to take it as oral. So this was launched, and immediately it had huge following. Everybody started loving it, and Arnold has confessed taking it, how it has helped him. Back then it came in actually 5 mg, 5 mg tab. Now it also comes in about 10 mg tabs, and dosage could be somewhere between, you could go up till about 50 mg, 60 mg, 70 mg, depending on your level. But remember one thing, Dbol gives you a lot of water. Now let's talk about Dbol usage and how is it used in bodybuilding. Now Dbol typically is used in a bulking cycle, which means bodybuilders use it to bulk up in off season, because this drug is highly androgenic. It gives you a lot of water retention, which means if you are new to steroids, if you haven't taken any, and if you think that you want to avoid that trouble of injecting something up your ass, this is a drug which comes in handy to a lot of people. I've seen a lot of newbies, guys who are kids and teenagers, fall victim to this, because it's pills are obviously easy to swallow compared to an injectable where you have to go there and ask somebody to do it. Plus, when you see a needle, it's a scary thought. Whereas a pill, you just have to pop it, thinking that hey, it's just a multivitamin or a fat burner. So that's why. And on a side note, orals are supposedly the most dangerous form of steroids because they actually break into the liver force. They are much more toxic to your liver than actually injectables. So that's why you have to be very, very careful with orals. So a lot of people you've seen, they prefer, if they're professional, they prefer injectables over orals any day, for a fact that because they're really harsh on your liver. So and bodybuilders don't do a heavy oral cycle. They only do it for a few weeks, but they do a very long injectable cycle because it's relatively safer. This is safer, steroid safer, yeah, relatively safer. So what does it do? So if somebody were to take Dbol, you can expect some crazy strength gains. I remember when I took it, I was a beast in the gym, man. I would just go and lift weights like anything. It really gave me that strength, and plus, and the strength came in relatively in hours. I didn't have to wait for days to kick in. That's the thing about Dbol. So the next video I'll do is another oral drug called AR.Drone. I'll do a video on that too. That's also a very dangerous drug. So the thing about orals is they kick in really fast. That's why it's always a good idea for these bodybuilders to stack it up with injectables, because you kickstart your steroid cycle with an oral one, and then suddenly you back it up to sustain those gains with an injectable. Coming back to Dbol. Now, besides strength gains, it made me really aggressive, and so much so that I was in a position that I could just bang my head against the wall and feel that I'm working out on my forehead. It's that bad, and I'm not saying this is a side effect or whatever. It's just that and everybody would get different reactions to a drug. Some people won't feel anything, and some people would get crazy amount of reactions. So my reaction was that. Another reaction that I faced was obviously water retention, because it's really giving you a lot of water. Plus, if you're prone to developing chest fat, you should stay away from all the androgenic drugs, which mean all the bulking agents, which I didn't know, and I realized over a brief period of time. So this drug obviously did worse to my gyno or to my chest problem. Obviously I had to do something about it. As I kept taking the drug, my dosage maximum I went up was about 30 mgs, and about 30 to 35 odd mgs. I took a 5 mg pill, and I started developing a problem on my chest. I started getting lumps, which is obviously not a good thing. You clearly see that it's not suiting your body. So I had to discontinue it. Obviously, some people vouch for it that hey, it works beautifully for others, but it didn't work for me. I really didn't like the drug. Though I did get some strength, but I think the side effects, the sides were way too high for me to actually continue it. Plus, it's very harsh on your liver, as I said. Should you take it? Obviously not. See, the reason why I do these videos, for you to get some perspective on things. It's important for you to be informed about these things. If you think I'm promoting steroid, that's a wrong way to look at it. The reason why I do this, because I think I have something which anybody or someone can be benefited from. So you can just learn something from it, basis my experience, and stay away from it, because so that there is somebody out there like me who can actually tell you his experience. Rest decision, the prerogative lies with you. If you want to do it or not do it, I can only guide you. This is not the right way. I've learned my lessons, and that's the reason I've started this channel, so that you could also get some ideas around it, that this is not the right path when it comes to fitness. Coming back to Dbol. So obviously it gave me a lot of chest fat, it gave me a lot of water retention, it was harsh on my liver, and that too just for strength gains. It doesn't cut you up. This drug is not the kind of drug which will actually give you hardness like Winstrol. It will not give you cut off fat. No drug will actually help you cut off fat from your body. If you're thinking steroids do that, steroids will only add strength and give you muscle gain so that you could recover faster. They will not add muscles. What will add muscle is your training and your right diet. They just support system. Steroids and supplements are just a support system to your training and diet plan. So after all these effects, I kind of got worried about with the lumps, and I discontinued it. And after about a week or so, it was normal. I could actually my chest came back to normal. Do I recommend this to anybody? No. Stay away from this orals, especially orals, Dbols especially. And thing about Dbols is very, very cheap. And the other day I was at a retailer shop, in Delhi, and these guys were selling this one pill for rupees 5 or 6 rupees, and I was really shocked. And kids were buying it, hoping that they would bulk up. And guys, remember, even if you bulk up on this drug, in the moment you discontinue it, that bulk will go. You won't be able to maintain it, because it gives you a lot of water. So whatever, if your goal, if you're an ectomorph, if you want to pack on muscle, and if you take Dbol, it will definitely add on about 4-5 kilos. But the moment you discontinue it, it's gone, because that's water weight that you acquired, not muscle mass. So get that into your head. So stay away from this. So that's why you gotta train natural, and you gotta stay, and there are a lot of ways you can eat clean and gain that weight, and you will not get fat or get water by taking Dbol. So in conclusion, my experience with Dbol hasn't been great. I would suggest you not to go with it, especially it's an oral drug. You should always, as a thumb rule, stay away from. So this was my experience with Dbol, and I'll be keep coming up and keep updating you folks on different kind of drugs that you should stay away from, because this is not the right. Fitness is all about staying away from these things and saying no to these things. That's the reason I do this stuff. Any one of you have any questions around this, feel free to reach out to me either on my YouTube, Facebook or WhatsApp channel. I'll be very happy to help you with your fitness goal minus the steroid route. So until we meet again, peace.